Hey everybody, this is Andy Bennett with the CSS News Civil War Interpretive Center, back with one of our food preservation videos. This is part 1 of 2 about preserving fruit. In past videos, we have talked about drying fruit and brimstoning, so check out those videos if you didn't get a chance to get those. What we're going to be talking about in part 1 are some of the earliest methods. One of the earliest methods of preserving fruit other than drying is honeying. In ancient Roman times, they would preserve food, even meats, by putting them into honey. Honey, as the bees make it, almost all the water's been driven out of it, and as we learned in previous videos, the bacteriums that make our food spoil do not like high sugar environments. They just can't thrive in that environment. It's just too much for them. But molds, funguses, and yeast do thrive in these environments, which can be an issue with these processes. But honey, we found in ancient pharaohs' tombs, it will dry out, it will crystallize, but it almost never goes bad. You can rehydrate it with some water. So placing fruit in honey was one of the early ways of honeying. As we go on, putting fruit in a sugary syrup become common practice for storing our fruits, particularly whole fruits. We still today do a sugar syrup for, canned fruits you buy at the store. Peaches, pears are in a sugar syrup. But cane sugar was expensive, and lower members of society at first couldn't afford it, so they still used honey. There's other concentrated sugar syrups out there. Think about it. Maple syrup is maple sap with the water driven out by heat. The process of molasses making, whether it's sorghum juice cooked down or sugar juice cooked down. But these maple syrup and molasses have a strong taste, which kind of lends them out of preserving fruit, because you want to maintain that fruit flavor, right? So we've got honeying. If we did have access to sugar, we can do sugaring, right? If we have lots of sugar, what we can do is, this started off as a layer of fruit, layer sugar, layer fruit, layer sugar. If you make strawberry shortcake and you always put some sugar in to dry out the juices, that's what's happened, is the fruit has dissolved some of the sugar, it's drawed out their juices, so it's a pure fruit juice and sugar mixture. Now molds and funguses and yeast can get in that and start turning that into alcohol, right? One of the other ways of preserving fruit in the past is alcoholing fruit. That's where you layer fruit, layer sugar, layer fruit, layer sugar, and then you add alcohol to it, whether it's branding for cherries or other distilled spirits added to fruit. So you're going on and adding the alcohol in there, so you have high sugar environment that's packed really tightly, so it's fairly low oxygen environment, as we talked to earlier, is also beneficial for preserving fruit. And then the alcohol is going to help kill those molds, yeast, and funguses, right? From pervading there, and help kill some of the bacteria too. So preserving fruit in alcohol, whether it's completely in a brandy, whole fruit and brandy, or different other ways, that's one way also. But if, let's say, we don't have any access to alcohol, let's go back to one of those Roman traditions of using wine, preserving food in wine I've talked about in a previous video. One of the other things in preserving food is in grape water, right? Or raisin water too. Grape juice and raisin juice in wines have a natural anti-mold, antifungal properties to them. Your white bread you have at home, your loaf bread, you ever notice it doesn't hardly ever go moldy? It'll go stale before it goes really moldy on you. It's because it has raisin juice in it. Most brands have raisin juice to keep it from going moldy. So one of the things they could do is it's kind of hard to see because of the glare of the light, but there's raisins in there. So they would mix raisins in with this fruit sugary syrup, and that would help deter molds and funguses from growing in it and help retard yeast growth in it, so it wouldn't go so alcohol so fast. So there's honeying alcoholing fruit, sugaring fruit, and adding raisins to help preserve them. Hopefully you're enjoying these videos. Please catch part 2 of this when I go a little bit more into some of the modern food preservation concepts and techniques of jams and jellies. As always, check out our videos on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.